Hey, so I'm starting this video, this final episode of our limited series podcast with this little announcement because I have to. I have to acknowledge the fact that the video quality, well, the audio quality is different than the other episodes. We have no idea what the heck happened. Both of us thought that our podcast mics were working. And when I sat down and started listening to the recording, it was very clear that it sounded like our default, like computer speaker or microphone, rather, was the one that was picking up our sound for both of us. So we didn't want to re record it because it's a conversation about setting goals, and it would have just like came off really weird if we would have tried to re-record and talk through the exact same thing. So I apologize for that, but we wanted to get it out anyway because the content is good. We think it'll be helpful for you guys, and I hope you enjoy it.
For more, focus. Whoa, almost had it.
That looks better.
Yeah, there you go, baby.
Okay, that's so weird.
I don't know why she does that.
I'm sorry.
Trying to look at the name.
I'm like about to start, and you're all like,
I know. Give me a second. Yeah,
it's an anger, right?
You gotta keep that in.
Yeah, I think I will. I think I will.
I was just messing with the camera, guys. Okay, I was double checking something. I wasn't trying to like stare into your eyes. Jeez, freaking weirdos.
Okay. Hello and welcome to the last episode of the Creating Self-Care Plans podcast. We started this to be a limited series on purpose because both my sister and I were like, we would like to start a podcast. And we thought, let's just do it. Let's just jump in. And I already had a channel. So we were just like, let's just talk about that.
Screw it.
Yeah. And let's see how it goes. Let's see how we like it. So we have some discussions that we need to have with each other, not on YouTube, and figure out what we want to do. So definitely make sure that you stick around so that you kind of find out what we are going to do in the future if we decide to like start a new podcast on the other channel, perhaps.
Just stand by for when we are completely done scheming.
Yes, we have to finish brainstorming and making goals and plans and all that stuff. Which brings us to what today's topic is going to be. It is going to be about setting goals. I actually have put some videos out recently. One of them went kind of viral for me. I'm crying, talking about how well the MakseLife system worked for me. It's a goal setting system for 2023. And then I just did another one where I actually flipped through all the little notebooks from that system and showed you guys all the pages filled out. I covered up with sticky notes things I didn't want to be seen, mostly names, but that will be like, I think, a good place for people to go to in case you need an idea of a reference and what, because a lot of times people keep that stuff private and it's like, dude, how do I even do the goals? So there you go, an idea. As you can see all the messy and the pretty ones and then the blank pages. So you know that somebody, you can do it the way I did it, where you have the blank pages and you have the messy whatever, and you still can come out at the end of the year and be like, dude, that was awesome. So I am going to continue doing MakseLife for 2023. That's going to be my goal setting system. And Lexus and I wanted to talk about how we kind of go about setting goals in our lives. Mine follows mostly the MakseLife system for now. Prior to using MakseLife, I really wasn't ever in a goal setting system. So I kind of thought goals meant like really big things, like get married and graduate from college and buy a house.
Big things.
Yeah, big things like that. I didn't really see little things as being like goals. So being in the system that I'm in now, it's kind of really helped like reframe my mind about goals. And we'll talk a little bit about the smart system and how Alexis has used that before. Oh my goodness.
Sorry. I don't know what is going on. Sometimes somebody will like drive by on a bike
Uh-huh.
or something, bicycle,
Yeah.
because we
It
live in
must have
town.
been uh
Somebody will ride by and
or somebody's
there
running or
goes the parking.
walking. Most likely running. I bet you somebody set a goal in the neighborhood. Have you noticed more people walking around because
Yeah,
it's the new
I've noticed
year?
some runners. Ever since I want to say like the third, I did not see anybody on the first. I did have to work on the first, which kind of sucked, but it is what it is. So on the first, I didn't see a soul. Like the whole town was just desolate. Nobody in sight, tumbleweed everywhere, like nobody. Okay. So New Year's Day, nobody. And then day two of the new year, I started to kind of see people come back to life. And then day three, all of a sudden, there's 10 people running on the road and there's people on their bikes everywhere around town. And then I'm starting to see like new vehicles. And I work at a gym. So I was expecting a lot more traffic to come in and say, hey, we want to like, sign up. For a
Yeah.
gym membership and stuff like that. I don't take care of that part of the house. I do the training part of it.
Right.
So as far as like when members come in and do a membership, I don't deal with that part. I do like the training part of it, which I'll explain like the training way that I do like my goal setting. But holy crap, man, like the town was just dead for 2 days. I'm like, where are all the motivated New Year, new me people? Like it took a couple days. I'm like,
Interesting.
I think people were over 2023 and they were just like, we need to recover for another 2 days or something before we start anything new because we got to process what just happened. I feel like that was what was going on. People were just processing 2023 because nobody was in sight, man. It was the weirdest thing. It took 2 days for the
I
town
was
to
just
come back to life.
yeah, as you were talking about it and how you had to work that day, I was just like, yeah, she works at a gym. Like, I wonder how that was. You would think first of the year it would be like a madhouse. But that's
Yeah,
interesting.
it was
Interesting.
dead for like 2 days. Yeah, it took a while. It took a while for people to like come out of hiding after New Year's Day. We might have went hard. I mean, for those of you that don't know, I live in Texas. There were fireworks everywhere on New Year's Day.
Uh,
Everywhere.
wow. Was it loud?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How long
But the good
did the fireworks go off till at night?
mm, I'm trying to remember.
Your face
So
said it all.
I want to say like 1:30.
Wow. Yeah.
One
When you said
thirty around town, I think, is when everything got quiet.
quiet.
So when I want to say like 1 o'clock, fireworks started to definitely slow down. But between 1 o'clock and 1:30, so like 1 a.m. and 1:30, that's when you start hearing like little things off in the distance. Like, okay, everybody's letting off their last fireworks. So it took about
Wow.
30 minutes. So
So
1:30,
for
the
like
town
an
was quiet.
hour, for about an hour straight, it was just boop, 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 boop.
More than an hour because it started before
Oh
midnight.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Because we were
Jeez.
driving in, we went out, we went to a bar. But we left at 11. We left at 11. We didn't stay till midnight. We were like, screw this. We're tired. We're over the whole like New Year's thing. We get it, New Year, new me. Like you have to go out and show out for New
Mhm.
Year's, but
Yeah.
also, do you have to stay till 12? I mean, you don't really have to. Okay, like let's be honest. We're all adults. Okay, I had to
Well,
work
it
the
depends on
next
what
day,
time
so
you
I
got
wasn't
there.
playing around.
Oh yeah. What time did you get to the bar that night?
We got there pretty early. I think it was like
Yeah.
eight
Yeah, that's
thirty,
early. You were
9.
already you were already been
We were
there
good.
partying enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were good. We were good.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was talking about. What was I mentioning? Oh, because you asked me about like New Year's.
We were talking about the number of people that were at the gym or that weren't at the gym rather. And then
Oh
we
yeah,
started talking about the loudness of the night before, maybe just the Texans partying a little too hard.
yeah.
What do you
Texas partied
think?
hard. Nobody
That's
was at the gym for like 2 days, and then
that's
people started to
crazy.
trickle in.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm honestly surprised because I would have thought my thought process would have been that if I didn't see anybody in the first couple days that or there wasn't like an uptick, that there wasn't going to be an uptick. Just because I feel like there's
That's what I
there's
thought.
there's two camp. Well, I don't know. I always felt like with goals and people setting resolutions, that if you are not like the person that is, I'm gonna do this, you're gonna go gung ho, and then you're gonna do it from day one, and then you're gonna slip up, and then you're gonna be like, oh, F it, I'm not doing it anymore.
Mm.
Or you just don't even set it and you don't even care. So I thought there was like, there's the all or nothing people, and very rarely do you have it where it's like, oh, I'm just not going to do it for a few days and then I'm going to get on it later, unless, well,
Very
let me,
rarely do you have people like that, but you have to think, if I think, okay, in this instance, so you said, because I see this sometimes like with exercise, right? So you said, and I'll relate this to exercise. So say somebody comes in and they work out consistently, say 5 days a week for about 3 months. Okay, life happens,
yeah.
their schedule falls apart, but they still manage to come into the gym at least once a week.
Hmm.
So this right here is discipline, in my opinion. This right here is discipline because you know that you can't do 5 days a week like you used to, and you're still trying to fit exercise into your schedule how you can, right?
Right.
You manage to get in at least once a week. And I say manage because sometimes we don't feel like working out. We don't feel like exercising. We don't feel like going out and taking care of ourselves. You know what I mean? It's just,
Yeah.
I just don't want to do it. Sometimes you just don't want to do it, right? So you don't. Okay. So you knock it down to like one time a week with exercise. But then the problem is some people that have been consistent for a while, some people take that and they get confident with it and they say, I can do it again. And then they do it again. Right. But some people say, I did it before and then I lost it and now I can't get it back.
Hmm.
There's two different types. There's I'm gonna get it back, and there's I did it and it's not for me. Like I'm not gonna get it back. They really don't try to get back into the habit of exercise and stuff like that. But I'm not sure where I was going with that.
We were talking about how people
I'm
were
not
coming
awake
in.
yet today.
It's
What is
okay. It's
going on?
okay.
This is the worst last episode. I don't want to go. I'm just kidding.
Lex's brain's still in 2023. Um,
I am still in 2023. I'm still
um,
processing.
it's okay. I
Jeez.
have been doing well, okay, for people who don't know me, I've been doing daily yoga since 2021. So it occurred to me the other day that I just completed 3 years of daily yoga, which is like mind blowing. Because I remember when I completed the first year thinking, oh my God, that was like, I can't believe I did it. And then now it's like 3 years. It's like, holy smokes, I feel like
That's
I
awesome.
just started it. So for January, I'm actually doing not one yoga challenge, but two yoga challenges. Every
Nice.
January, Yoga with Adrian does a 30-day challenge. And I've been participating in that ever since. That's what got me doing the daily practice in 2021. And so every January, she does a new one. So I do it. And this year, Sarah Beth Yoga also launched a challenge, but hers is 21 days. And it began on the first as well. So I was going to just do hers and not do Adrian's, but then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do both. Let me see. That'll be
You're
like a
crazy.
challenge. That'll be like a challenge because technically I'm already used to doing it every day. So
This is true. You got to switch it up.
let me do two. Let me do two. And then it didn't occur to me, I think, in the beginning that like maybe your body's not strong enough to do two. But we are 10 we today's the 11th of January. I've already completed 10 days. And okay, let me tell you that my body is a lot stronger than I thought because I've been able to
Heck
do
yeah.
some of these abs and these you know, plank poses. And like my abs are not even like crying. My arms are not even like shaking and being all like, oh my God. And I'm just
Heck
like,
yeah.
yes, this is cool. I'm not, I haven't been,
I can do more.
I haven't been lazy. I thought that because I've been less and less like turning to an actual yoga video to do my yoga practice that I wasn't as strong. But this has proved me wrong. And I'm like, yes,
That's what I'm talking about.
I am still got it.
I
Okay.
love that.
Um and
I did that earlier today. I went to
what?
take a shower. I went to take a shower and I went like that. I said, yeah, I still got it. Because because yeah, I'm a skinny person, right? And
Yeah.
my goal back in the day was to gain 15 pounds of muscle. And this was before I joined the service, I had the goal to gain weight, and I didn't know how I was going to do it. Obviously, I had to eat, but I wasn't sure because I was 21. Yeah, I was 21 when I joined. So around 2021, I think I was my smallest. I was around 110, 115. I was a stick, man. Anyways, so I had a goal to gain 15 pounds before I joined. And this was before I even thought about, joining the service. And then I thought about joining the service, and they said, you need to gain weight before you join. I was underweight. So then it was a requirement. So before it was kind of like a thought that I threw into the universe, like I want to gain 15 pounds, right? And I wasn't really gaining that much weight. I was slowly gaining some weight. It took a while because for me, for some reason, I'm the type of person that I really do have to be hungry to eat because I'm just not hungry. And the way for me to get hungry is to exercise. If I exercise, if I do some kind of strenuous activity, I get super hungry and then I'm finally able to eat like a whole meal instead of just like taking off of a plate, right? If I don't work out, I don't have a good appetite, so I'll just like pick off of a plate. Okay. That's my body type, right? If you're the same way, then listen up. Okay, so I went to boot camp, right? I gained 15 pounds in 3 months. I was out of recruit training, and I gained 15 pounds. I looked freaking good. All right, I did. So now I knew how to gain the weight. So I got sick, lost the weight. Crap, got to start all over. So then I did it. Now that I knew how to do it, I had set the goal. Didn't know how I was going to achieve it. I ended up going through boot camp, figured out how to achieve it. Don't recommend going through boot camp just to find out how to gain weight. That's not what I'm saying. But that's how I learned. 10 out of 10, don't recommend doing that. But if you know how to do it, if you have the goal, if you know that you've done it before, you're more than likely to be able to do it again. So I was able to gain the weight back again. All right. I learned a lot of things about myself. And that is the key, in my opinion, to goal setting. It's set a goal, set a simple goal. And then while you try to achieve that goal, learn as much as you can about everything involved in achieving that goal. Why, you ask? Because, well, it was a goal for a reason, anyways. You must be somewhat passionate about it, right? It's something that you want. You set a goal for it, right? So start learning about it, right? Like it really invest your time in achieving this goal. And I don't mean break your head about it. What I mean is be present in the moment, everywhere you are, and keep your goal in the back of your head, right? So just like keep it conscious, right? Keep it in your back pocket while you walk around throughout your day, right? Because say your goal is to lose 10 pounds. I'll keep it simple. So your goal is to lose 10 pounds. You go about your day, you you start to be more conscious of what you're doing. You make coffee, you throw 2 teaspoons of sugar in there, you're about to throw the third one in there, and then you say, wait, I want to lose 10 pounds. You put the sugar back and you only do 2 scoops of sugar instead of three. That's step one. Okay. It took a long time for me to explain that, but being conscious of what you're doing, where you are, what you're doing, and also having your goal in the back of your head, it'll help you get closer to your goal. You can't just say, oh, I want to lose 10 pounds, and then you don't think about it again. Like, come on. You know
Right.
what I mean? So you have to keep that goal in the back of your mind without breaking yourself about it. Go about your day, do your regular business, go make your coffee. But when you think about it, and when your goal comes to mind, you'll think of ways to reach your goal because you're like, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know how I'm going to gain this weight or lose this weight or whatever. But if you start walking around in your day to day with your goal in mind, you're going to start coming up with ways to lose weight. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm drinking a Diet Coke. Maybe I should switch that out. Like the information's already in your head. You already know what to do to lose the weight. The problem is, are you going to do it? And are you going to keep that goal in the back of your head to do it? You know what I
It's
mean?
like yeah, it's like making yourself aware. Like, are my habits aligning with the value that I'm supposedly placing on this goal of losing 10
Exactly.
pounds? It it
Exactly.
just makes you think, oh, okay, well, if you know this is what I really want to do, then my action right now is not matching up with that over there. And then just making yourself aware of it. And um yeah, you're not going to always do it perfectly, but the point is that you're like it's there.
You're aware
It's
and it's there.
it's in your face. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I
Once you
like
start,
that's
oh,
why I
I was
like
gonna say,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
okay. Once you start, once you start becoming conscious of what you're doing day to day, then you can kind of sort out certain things. You can sort out what's serving you, what's not serving you. And I've talked about something like that because when you set a goal, you usually set a goal to better yourself, right? Because you want something good out of it.
Yeah.
That's usually what a goal. If I don't, I've never seen anybody make a goal of like, actually, no, I shouldn't say that. Some people have had goals of destruction, but most goals are not goals of destruction. So, with your goals in mind, whenever you go about your day and whenever you're aware, you start to see what serves you and you start to see what doesn't serve you. And just being aware of what serves you and what doesn't serve you, one, helps you, it brings you closer to your goal. Two, it can help you change your goal altogether because you can start with one goal. I want to lose 10 pounds. Then you start, um, then you start making conscious decisions of switching out sugar, doing this, doing that. And then say you start exercising regularly. Okay. Now you're on track. All right. Like you're so conscious, you're so aware of your bad habits that you're replacing other habits. And now you're starting to feel better. But then, life happens, right? Say you have a thyroid problem. Now your goal changed, right? Don't be
Hmm.
so like dead set on certain goals. This is where I'm going with this. Don't get dead set on certain goals and then go about life and start, changing things, switching out habits and stuff just to find out that this is miserable for you and now you're not as happy as you were before or something like that. You know, you can change your goals, just do one thing at a time. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. Just do one thing at a time, right? As far as switching stuff out goes, we've talked about that.
I think anytime you find out there's some kind of underlying health reasoning behind things like thyroid, I think I've never had experienced this, but from what I've heard is that can be like a block for people who, if their goal is to lose weight, like if something's off with your thyroid, that by itself, unless until that gets like kind of fixed, it's you're
Yeah.
not going to be able to, is my understanding of it. And I think we get hung up a lot on the numbers. And it's okay if, like, let's say you do go down that road and you go to the doctor to run tests, and because one of your goals is to maybe just go back to the doctor again, and because you haven't been in a while, and all of a sudden you do all this blood work and they find out, this, and this, instead of being discouraged that, oh my gosh, now I'm not going to be able to lose the weight, think of it more of like, well, instead of my goal being to lose weight, it could be to make better eating choices, or healthier choices around
Yep.
eating and exercise. And as long as, like, let's say if one of the goals is to, for me, one of my goals is to do cardio a certain number of times per week. And so I don't have like a weight goal because I don't have any issue with my weight. It's more of like me wanting to exercise my heart. And so that's why I don't have a goal of lose a certain number of weight. It's make sure you do cardio this many times for this amount
Right.
of time per thing. So that's what I
Yep.
mean by like shifting it. And I think that's what you're getting at too, is like you can
Yeah.
shift it to where yeah, you might not be able to move that scale, but you could still lose inches on the
Hmm.
waist, because sometimes when you do begin like a workout program, I've seen this happen in my own body too. You gain weight because of the muscle you gain, because you've
Yeah.
begun working out these muscles, and muscle weighs more. So it might seem like, oh my God, I just started working out and now I'm gaining weight. Or there's like a flat line, nothing seems to be happening, but yet your pants fit differently, or your shirts
Hmm.
feel different, fit differently. That's how you know like body changes are happening. And as long as you feel
Yeah.
good, if you notice from like before you started doing whatever it is you're doing, and then now, like I can use the example with yoga. If before yoga you were a crazy person, and then you started doing yoga, and then all of a sudden you're calm and chill, like you notice,
You're funny.
you notice.
Crazy people. Uh,
You notice a difference. So
right.
the idea is, are you moving in a direction that you're happy with? If this new thing that you are doing is, if it's giving you more energy, it's making you feel a little bit happier, it's making it to where like you don't freak out as much. That
Yep.
those indicators to me are signs that what you are doing is working. Like
Absolutely.
I don't
100%.
care if you also tied in a number to it, because that make okay. This is my problem with like the smart goal system with the measurable thing. It's like sometimes it can't really be measured, because if you want it to measure in like numbers, to
Yep.
me, what I just explained, that's a measurable thing. If before this
Gotcha.
is how you
Yep.
felt and now you are feeling this, that's a measurable difference. Okay. It
Yep.
might be subjective, you know, every day might feel different. Like you're not necessarily going to feel as happy today as you did yesterday, but that's normal across the board. So
Yeah.
just kind of like reframing a little bit of what the success in your goals mean, I think is
Yeah.
big,
That
because
is that's huge. Like success in your goals. So when you I'll go to training and stuff like that because that's probably the most experience that I have with goal setting. So with my clients, because I have a few, with my clients, I use the SMART goal system. I don't actually lay it out like I don't actually lay it out like here's the SMART goal system and this is what we're gonna do. No, I just ask questions. I keep it as casual as possible. All right, so I just ask questions. So you mentioned the SMART goal system. So the SMART goal, SMART, right? The word SMART. Okay, it's an acronym. S stands for specific. So with specific goals, you want to make sure that it's not like a general thing. Like, I want to get healthy. Okay, what do you mean I want to get healthy?
right,
I want to feel good. Thank you. You just gave me two things. So if somebody says, I just want to feel good, that's a specific goal for me because you know how you feel. You know when you feel bad, you know when you feel, you know, good. And then it's also measurable. Okay. So your measure, as in like the client's measure of success slash achieving their goal, is feeling good. They want to feel good at the end of the day, right? So you got specific and then you got measurable. Okay. A, right? A is achievable. I'm like, how do you spell smart? SMA. Okay. Hey, now we're at A. Achievable. All right. You want to make sure it's achievable. So for me, if I were to set a goal that I want to bench press 325 pounds, I ain't never gonna do that. that is some wishful thinking. Is it possible? Probably,
not
but
tomorrow.
definitely not tomorrow. And give me until I'm like 42 years old because that is a lot of calories that I need to consume to be able to push that amount of energy like over my
I
chest.
I feel
Okay.
like that's like, if you, okay, that number right there, I hear, and because I know how small you are, I immediately go to bodybuilding. Be like, you would literally know need to go down
Yeah.
the road of what all the
Body.
things that bodybuilders do to get to that point, because that's the only way in heck that I would ever see you
Yeah.
doing that, and
I
that's
don't
a
ever
long road.
Yeah, I don't ever, it's rare that I say that something is impossible. Because even when I said I'm gonna bench press 300 something pounds, I'm like, I wonder if I really can.
Yeah, yeah.
I am not about like trying to test the impossible, or not about me personally. I'm not about trying to test the impossible, right? But I do get curious. Okay. So, anyways, achievable. You want to make sure that your goal is achievable. Okay. So, you want to start something small. So, say if you want to lose 30 pounds by the end of the year, say this year I'm going to lose 30 pounds, right? You don't want that, which that's a great goal. Okay. Super achievable. Why? Because you can break it down and you can do, let's see, if it's 30 pounds in a year, you got 24 pounds for 2 pounds a month. So it's an extra 6 pounds throughout, say, 6 months. You could probably go hard for the first 6 months and call it 3 pounds a month. I hope I didn't lose anybody because I get fast with this math. Okay. Okay, so for the first 6 months, you can do 3 pounds in 1 month. That is super freaking achievable. Okay. A healthy amount to lose is about 1% of body fat, which comes out to about like 2 pounds a month. That's about how much you want to lose in a healthy way. Okay. So when somebody says, I want to lose 100 pounds this year, I say, okay, what are we going to do that? How do you think you're going to achieve that? And then I break it down, and then they're like, crap, that's impossible. And I'm like, is it impossible? But it's going to be real hard.
Yeah.
Same thing. Is it impossible? So, anyways, it definitely needs to be achievable. Okay. Don't go too crazy. Like, hey, I'm going to do this. Like, a lot of goals take time. People don't realize, people don't understand that we are such a convenient society that it is messing with our brain and our goal setting process because we want our goals to come to us right then
We
and
can't
there.
just
Right?
Amazon that ish.
We can't, yeah, we can't just express ship our goals. Okay. These things take time. Okay. So you have to make sure your goals are achievable. Okay. So moving on to R. All right. Right. Yeah. SMAR, relevant. Okay. Make sure your goals are relevant. If you're walking into a gym and you say you want to lose weight, it is appropriate to talk with the personal trainer if you have one there. It is appropriate to ask, what type of food should I be eating? What should I be avoiding? It is 100% appropriate to ask those questions. I can give you general information. Now, I am no nutritionist. However, it is a relevant goal to want to eat better if, like, your main goal is to lose weight, right? You got to make sure it's relevant. So, if you have a goal to, like, so say you have a general goal, let's get healthy, okay? Set a relevant goal of working out 3 times a week. Okay. Specific. You're going to work out 3 times a week. Measurable, right? Working out 3 times a week. Definitely achievable. And is it relatable to you losing weight? If you work out 3 times a week, are you going to lose weight? Yes. If I work out 30 minutes 1 time a week, am I going to lose weight? It would be very slow, but you got to be hitting that diet really heavy. So you
I
have to have
think,
like another goal attached to it that is
yeah.
related to that other goal. So make sure
When I
all of your
hear
goals are related.
when I hear relevant, in my mind, I think that what that means is making sure that whatever this goal is that you are setting is actually something that you want to do and is relevant to
Ooh,
you.
that too.
I think that's
Yeah,
what I'm
that too.
thinking. Um, and the reason I say that is because I know that with the MakseLife system, the founder Sierra is always bringing up the fact that sometimes we put on our goals should goals, and what that
Mm,
means are we know we probably should be losing weight, so let's write that down. And
hmm.
because if we don't write it down, we're going to feel bad because that is something I should be working on. But do you really want to right now? Is that something you actually are motivated to do? If not, guess what's going to happen? You have it written down and you're going to see it every single month and every single week because in the Moxie Life system, you write down your goals on the month view, and then every week you write down your weekly actions. So you're looking at your monthly goals and figuring out what are my action steps for this week related to those goals. So you're going to keep looking at that every week. You're going to see lose this much weight, and or if let's be realistic. Come on, if you lost, let's say you want to lose 10 pounds over the course of the year, you only really need to lose like 1 pound a month. So you might only
Yeah.
have written down lose 1 pound. So if you keep seeing that on there, but that's not really something that you actually at this moment in time are wanting or even feel motivated at all to do, and you're
Yeah.
only doing it because someone's telling you you should. I mean, it could even be a doctor. Sometimes people don't listen to their doctors. So like
Yeah.
you we all know that like there are things that we probably should be doing. Like maybe we should be saving for retirement. right? And that could be a
Probably.
goal that you might write down because you think, oh, that's something I should be doing. But is that really something that I'm not trying to say that like those goals are bad. Those definitely are like good goals to have, but just like make sure that when you sit down and you set goals, like they actually are things that kind of light you up a little bit,
Yeah,
um,
you got to be
and
excited
that
about your goals.
and and you actually are going to dedicate time to it. Because I feel like when it comes to like wellness or weight loss type goals, and I can say this because of my own experience with my own mental health and it feeling like it was just too overwhelming and I was just in a place where my mind was just not right, that
Mm.
I had to reach that point before I was like, I don't like this anymore and I need to do something different.
Yep.
Or you go to a doctor's appointment and they tell you, hun, your blood work is not looking good. We need to get these numbers in a better shape. Here are some things that you probably could do. And maybe losing weight is one of the things on there. And or doing a cardio regimen, adding that in there, because
Mm.
that's something that you could probably do to lower like cholesterol, according to my cardiologist. So sometimes you have to reach those moments before you take something seriously and you're like, oh shoot, then all of a sudden it
Yep.
changes your mind and you're like, oh, I'm serious, I really have to do something about it. Sometimes it takes those moments for you to get to that place, and it's kind of sad that we have to kind of reach that kind of a point sometimes before we actually get really serious about working on our health goals. But you can't force yourself to do it. Just like if there's a family or loved one that you have in your life, if you know that they are supposed to be behaving a certain way, let's say they're not supposed to smoke anymore, and you, oh, I was not thinking about you. Um,
Gee, thanks. That was a
Sorry,
nice
that
stab
was
to
like
the
a
heart.
random random example, and then I was like, oh shoot, she's gonna think I'm talking about her. Well,
Lex will now
if
stay silent for the remainder of this podcast as
if
she feels unwanted.
if you want
Ugh,
to,
tell me how you really feel. Jeez.
if you can't do it
Okay.
for them, right? You
Yeah,
can't
you
you
can.
can't you can't take I can't like go to your house and be like, I'm removing all the vapes and taking
Hmm.
all your cigarettes, and then you can just go buy it. Like you can't do it for them. You can't make the
Exactly.
change for them. They have to want to make the change. So just like how that's true, the same applies for you. You have to literally want to make the change, like fully and
Yep.
100% be committed to it. Otherwise, it's going to fail. And then later you're going to be like, why? I don't understand. How come this goal is not really working? How come I'm not actually making action on it? How come I'm failing at it? It's because you really don't want it.
Yeah. Yep. It's because it's not actually relevant to you and you
Mhm.
don't want to do it. It has no relevance to you. Why should you lose weight? You're
At
fine
this
just the way
moment
you
in
are.
time,
Or
at
why
this,
should you
yeah,
start? Yeah, exactly. So
at this
I'll
moment in
get
time,
into
yeah.
time. Yeah, I'll get into time bound real quick because time bound I feel is self explanatory. So it's the last part of the SMART goals. So you got
Yeah.
SMART and T is time bound. So time bound, you want to set a time limit. So say you have a goal to lose 30 pounds. When do you want to lose 30 pounds by the end of the year? Cool, time bound. There you go. You set a time limit for it. So with me, whenever I do my goals, I have big dreams, guys. Okay, so I set my big dreams on there, and then I put by this time, uh, by 33, I want to do something. Okay. By 40, I want to do something. I'm not telling you guys my goals, by the way, but these are actual like set times. By 33, I want something. I'm 29 years old, but by 33, I'm going to have something. I'm going to have a lot. I plan on having a lot by 33. Okay. By 40, I'm going to have a lot of other things. By 45, something's going to happen. By 50, something else is going to happen. Like I have timelines, but my in between, I want to leave alone because I want to have fun in between. You know what I mean? Like that's one of my goals. Okay, I'll tell you guys that one. I want to have fun. Okay, I life's been rough. Okay, so now I just want to have fun. It sounds so sad when I say it out loud, but if I say it like that, but like I just want to have fun. Okay, so
There's nothing wrong with having fun goals. In the Moxie
there's
Life
nothing wrong
system,
with that.
there's 8 categories of goal setting. and one of the categories is fun and recreation. So,
Ooh.
like,
You gotta take care of yourself.
I
Make
think
yourself
that
more fun and recreation. You
yeah,
know.
that was whenever I first found out about this, like seeing the fun and recreation, I was like, what? Like, I always considered like goals were like work things or like
Yeah.
health things. I really never saw it any other way. And then there's this system has like personal goals, fun and recreation, family
Yeah.
and
I want to learn
relationships,
how to play the guitar. I want to learn how to DJ.
spiritual.
I want to learn
Yeah,
this, that.
yeah.
Go learn stuff.
There's financial goals, there's physical
Yeah.
environment goals.
There's one important thing that you started to mention, um, but I'm going to hit on it because I think it's important. Okay. So with goals and goal setting and making some changes, okay, because usually when we have a goal, there's something that we want to change, okay? So with change, and I don't want to say I'm going to get platonic or something like that, but I might get like a little bit spiritual, okay? So forgive me if this is not what anybody is into. I'm going to generalize my words, okay? All right, anyways, so when change comes or when you want change, you have to be in the right mindset for it and you have to have the right energy for it. What I mean by that is you said it, you have to be ready. You have to like want to do it yourself, right? Like you pretty much was like, you got to want that. So that means that your energy has to be in the right set, like your energy has to be ready for change. Your mindset has to be ready for change in order for it to happen, right? And if your energy and if your mindset is not there, here's the kicker: wait until spring, because that is
Hmm.
nature. That
I
is when
agree.
nature decides to change and bloom and come up,
Yeah.
right? So if you want to just wait, if you know that something needs to change, but you're not ready for it now, revisit the idea in spring, because rarely do I ever, actually, this year, I think I made like two or three, which is a lot more than usual. I never make New Year's resolutions because I think that is the worst time to have a New Year's resolution or try to change something, because first of all, you're in the middle of winter, we're still hibernating, okay? I'm still asleep when you guys are trying to make all these changes and it doesn't work. And why doesn't it work? Because you're not actually ready for the change. Your energy isn't ready for the change. When you and your energy is ready to receive that change, then you're going to take it to new heights, baby.
Yeah.
And if you do it in spring, guess what you have helping you? Nature. You have nature helping you. The sun
Yeah.
is out. Everybody's in a great mood during spring. Woo! Winter's over. It's time to go out and do stuff. That is when you want to go out and
Yeah.
use that energy, from the earth and the season. It's spring season. Come on. Like everybody's
Yeah.
happy during spring. Why? Because the energy is changing.
I'm glad
You
you
got all
brought
these
that up.
plants out there blooming, like everything feels great. That is the perfect time to try to make some changes because you already got nature on your side. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like I get a little hippie when I start talking about like that kind of stuff, but like that works, man. I'm telling you, it really does work. If something doesn't feel right within you, just wait until it feels right. That's all I got to say. Like as far as when to do goals, if you don't feel it, don't do it. Now is not the time. Don't set the goal, because you want to set the goal with full intention of achieving the goal. And if you don't achieve the goal, you may get disappointed. You may get
Mhm.
not well more than disappointed. Stuff like that. You don't even go after the goal after a certain point because you're like, I can't even do it. So you really do
Yeah,
want to
you like
be in
lose
that
belief in
mindset when you
yourself.
set it.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. You don't want that.
Yeah, I know that JMB Living, they make a journal, and I remember in I'm pretty sure it was the spring issue, and I was featured in I think the spring issue. That's probably the issue I'm thinking of, where she has a letter at the
Yes.
beginning of every journal, and I think in that one she mentioned how springtime can be a really great time of year to start working on those goals if you didn't set them in January. And right now, if you go to her Instagram, she most likely around this time of year she'll bring up the fact that like don't feel bad if right now you don't feel like setting any goals, because you can wait until the spring. And so I'm glad you brought that
Yeah.
up, because I personally haven't set my goals for 2024 yet, because I'm not following the January 1st. I am following the
Yep.
Lunar New Year, which, hallelujah, doesn't start till February 10th this year. So I have got lots of time. That's practically almost in springtime for me to actually finalize what it is that I want to work on. And for me, the goal setting process for that to happen in December is just like too much. They're, first of all, my kids are not even in school for half the month. So the thought of me reflecting on the entire year and sitting down and figuring out what am I going to work on in 20, in the new year, to try and get all of that done. Like the year that I tried to do that in 2022, by March, I redid all my goals. I was way
Mm.
too ambitious and I
Yep.
had set way too many. And by March, I redid everything. I started it
Yep.
all over and I was like, oh, no. So,
Yep.
learning from that, whenever I went into goals for 2023, I was like, I'm waiting till Lunar New Year to start.
Yep.
And that worked really well. And I'm like, I was able to cruise into the year. I didn't have to worry about setting goals before the year started. Basically, January is kind of, for me, a carryover for whatever habits and things I've already been doing that have been working well. And
Yeah.
I've got time this month to reflect on last year and really put together some good thoughts and ideas. And also, like you were saying, the energy of the spring is like new life. Like in wintertime, it's like death.
Everything's
I
dead.
was watching I was watching someone's I was watching someone's video. What's his name? YouTuber. He did a video about the South. He's like a comedian, and he was talking about how the South in the winter, and he's like, "Y'all, it is dead. It's everything is brown and dead because we don't have snow.
Yep.
Everything looks like poop. Because like if it would have snowed, it would look it would look better, but it's just
Yeah.
everything is just dead." And just the energy of it. And it's like that's why he's like that's why seasonal depression was created, because of the people in the South and how gross it looks outside in the
Heck
wintertime.
yeah.
But anyway, yeah, the energy of right now is like you said, it's I don't like it because it gets dark so early and the
Mm-hmm.
days feel
It makes
so
me want to
short.
not do
I
anything. The
just
days are short.
I just want to sleep longer. And
Mm-hmm.
I for myself, I definitely feel more like the closer we get to spring in March, as soon as March hits, I start to feel a little bit more like, all right, let's go. I
Yep.
get all these ideas and I start feeling more energy to like work towards things
Yep.
versus
That's
like
how
in
I
the
am.
beginning of the year. First of all, there's no magic in like January 1st. So let's just like
There
forget
is no
that.
magic.
There's no magic in
There's no
January
magic.
1st. You can start your goals at any point in time. Just because you
Yep.
missed the boat and you didn't start on January 1st, or if you missed the boat, you don't start on the Lunar New Year, or you missed the boat and you don't start in springtime as soon as that happens. It, it could be September. And if all of a
Yep.
sudden you're like, you know what? I want to start doing this thing and I think I can get it done before the year's over. And if you get it done before the year's over, good for you. Like it doesn't, you don't have to have the idea and the goal at the beginning of the year in order for
Yep.
you to like, make the year successful for you. So
Yep.
yeah, stop thinking
Absolutely.
that, there is this like rule that this is how you do it however the heck you want to do it. And if some days you feel like, you know what, I don't know how I feel about that goal, revisit it next month.
Yep.
Maybe
I
you'll
do
feel
that a
better.
lot.
Yeah, maybe you'll feel
A
better
hundred
about it the
percent.
next month.
A
Or maybe
hundred
the whole
percent.
year will go by. I have a goal that specifically the whole year went by and I never even like did anything about it. It had to do with getting rid of some old tax documents, and I just never got rid of it. I never like went
Whoops.
through it, and it just never got done. And you know what? I guess it's just not that important right now. But
Yeah. Well,
I still have the records. The only thing that's bothering me is the fact
just
that I got the
revisit.
file.
Yeah.
So like there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with like just putting it off. And the thing is you'll learn about yourself. You learn, the more you put it off, you
Mhm.
kind of start thinking, well, why am I putting it off? Like,
Man, you learn so much about yourself when you set goals. You're like, all right, I'm going to do this. And then you don't do it. You're like, crap, I have no self discipline. And then you say, okay, I'm going to go do this. And then you don't do it. And you're like, wow, I really don't like doing the dishes. You learn so much about yourself
yeah,
when we set goals. And I love the process. Okay. Set a goal, don't achieve it. It's cool because you learn so much from just trying to achieve that goal that you figured out, hey, I actually don't like this. Maybe I should go try this instead. And then you go over there and then you set a different goal and then you achieve it. And you're like, this is the best thing ever. And it all started with that crappy goal that you had that you never achieved because you
exactly.
started learning, because you actually put your all into it and you
Yep.
actually started learning stuff about yourself, and then you found a newfound passion. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
just take everything like one day at a time and have fun with it. Have fun trying to achieve your goals. Like, that is my challenge to you, because since I am on this let's have fun thing, I'm bringing everybody down with me. All right, we're all going to have fun achieving our goals. Okay, here's what you're going to do. You're going to take your goals, you're going to write them down. Not now, maybe during spring equinox, who cares? Okay, do it, write it down. Right, dude, writing down your goals is super important. Okay, writing it down, it kind of like solidifies it and it like puts it out into the universe. Okay, but after you write down your goal, intend, well, when as you write it down, intend to achieve it. Make sure that it's specific, it's measurable, it's
You
achievable,
can
blah blah
even
blah.
sit
That's the
there and
system
like
that I use.
visualize. You can
Yeah, you can
visualize
visualize the
what
goal as you write it down.
you can visualize it
Visualize
being
yourself
achieved.
achieving it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it being achieved. Do that, write it down, and then after that, say I had a great time achieving this, and then put it away. Put it in your diary, whatever, however you have your goals or whatever. Say I had a great time achieving this, and then put it away. I want to see how that works. I want to see if it works for me, and I want to see if it works for anybody else. And if it works for somebody else and not me, I'm going to come to you and I'm going to say, well, what did you do that I didn't? Because I still have goals.
I think for me this past year, what's helped a lot is that I first of all, our mind is not meant to be a storage unit. So making sure you have things written down and then returning to it and looking at it every so often. Like for me, with the way the MakseLife system is, I set my annual goals one time and then I look at them only once a month. I look at it
Mm,
whenever I'm trying to figure out what am I going to work on this month, and then I don't keep going to my annual goals all the time. I'm only looking at that broken down month for this time period. And I think
mm,
that's what's been really helpful is that, and then every week I look at my month and figure out what am I going to work on this week that gets me closer to my month goal. And having that breakdown and those steps has been really helpful because for me, if you don't know already, I get overwhelmed if I look at too much. So if I'm
yeah,
looking at my monthly calendar for all the things and all the activities that are happening, and I look at that every single day,
I lose my
that would
shit.
stress me out. So if I had to look at my annual goals, all the goals that I have for the whole year, all the time, forget it.
Nope.
Nothing would happen. So the fact that everything's broken down the way it is in the Moxie Life system is perfect for my brain, and it helps like compartmentalize everything into all the categories. But before we wrap this up, I think that we can all agree that fun is probably one of those goal categories that a lot of us tend to forget and overlook. So I think let's challenge ourselves. We've had a couple of years where it's been kind of meh with the with everything that happened in 2020, and then it just kind
This
of
is me having fun.
yeah. And then everything that kind of just came from that. Challenge yourself to set some kind of a fun goal for the year and work on that a little bit every day. Like, even if it's just like put on some music and dance, or put on some music and just listen to some
My
good music.
fave.
Something that makes you feel good, something that lights you up, brings a little bit of happiness into your life. There's a lot of heaviness happening right now in certain parts of
Mhm.
the world. So it can be really difficult, I think, to find like the good in the everyday mundane when so much is going on. And it might be very discouraging to think about goals when you feel like there's so much uncertainty. But I feel like if you can just focus on maybe one type of a fun goal this year. Doesn't even have to be anything that you spend money on. Like I said, you can just put on some music and do something like that. But that would be my challenge to you guys. Do you have any kind of a challenge you want to add to that for this year as we wrap up
Well,
our little podcast?
well, you said to do a fun goal, like,
Yeah.
learn something, fun, do something fun for yourself, right? Go dancing. First of all, I'm going to blast some music. I'm going to play it and I'm going to dance my butt off right after this. Okay. That's what I'm about to do. Second, add the fun to your already existing goals. If not, just add that fun element whenever you write down your goals in the future. Have fun while you do it. Don't take it too serious. A goal is a goal. It can change. Just have fun while you do it. Enjoy yourself while you do it. Learn yourself while you do it. And man, you gonna take off. Have fun. Have fun is the key. Have fun.
Yeah, have fun. All right. So I'm sure Lex has enjoyed recording this podcast as much as I have. I've enjoyed sitting down and chatting about these self-care topics over the last 5 episodes. We will be back in some form or fashion. It might not be tomorrow or next month or next year, but at some point, and we will make sure to, let you know where we are. So make sure you stay connected. Get on my email list. It's always in the description of the video. I'll make sure to blast that out whenever we figure out our plan and what our goals are for the future. You want to add anything else to sign off?
We'll be back. Stay tuned.
Bye, everybody.